Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader, and in this video we are taking a look at SMCI stock. Can we go back to $1,000 or 975 area zone where our previous move was, or are we heading down to the level of like 675 or so forth? And that is where I expect 200 days moving average would be by then. So which direction is SMCI going to give us? So in this video, I'll talk about all of that. What is the price action telling us, and also provide you from the lens of the technicals, what are the levels to watch for these potential plays, because I do think SMCI is at that dividing line that above it, it can continue higher, below it, it will continue lower, right? So, and that dividing line is, guys, around 835. So let's, diagnose the price action over here, and let's see what is the sentiment between sellers and buyers are like, and how to tackle this thing, right? So with that, please hit the like and subscribe, and also please note, none of this is any financial advice and it's only for education purposes. I'm just sharing here my opinion, nothing more than that. Please go and do whatever you feel like doing. All right, so starting off here with SMCI, guys, first of all is we do have a sorta on the daily interval. This, you can use this trend line as for reference. I would say that this is a higher, technically, yeah, this is, higher lows and sorta also higher highs over here, right? It can be argued. Let me actually, I know this is not very visible, not very visual right off the gate, but that something has been functioning. Let me actually put this in the channel and see how things are. Yeah, it sort of also forms this channel, and which pretty much gives you upside room as well from here, right? So if I even extend this back, you do have of this channel some previous areas of these supports, right? So it's like a more like a boundary of the channel of this trade that you can be tracking on SMCI. Now this is so big and wide that this is more of a swing potential play as well. You can use it, not necessarily for intraday or even shorter time of day trading. I'm just going to get rid of that previous line. Oh, sorry. But I just wanted to surface this channel as well in your attention so that you are aware that this is a little bit, it's what it's following as well. But let's get back to the simplicity of the trading. Now, guys, I'm just going to get rid of it because it's coming in the way, but you get the idea, right? Now, so though we have this higher pivot, I'm seeing these huge supply zones over here, guys. This zone of 912 to 972 has been a huge supply zone. And how about we, again, we will talk about it, what are the possibilities of the supply zone to keep acting again. But let's actually mark this area as red so that we know where we are talking about it. So there's a supply zone sitting over there. So we do, yes, it can be argued junior trader, but yes, this has been getting bought back up. So isn't this a demand zone? Well, technically, yeah, it's forming those pivots and it's a demand zone, but it's not of a strong demand zone down here that whenever it's coming down, it's getting just like super bought back up. No, right? You see it goes through consolidation, softens out, right? And then it tries to go up. But then as soon as we reach the supply zone, it's like, bam, like, just a sell-off. And you can see over here, this candle as well is like a bam, but a sell-off, right? But anyways, so definitely technically this thing can still continue if the momentum comes, which we'll take a look at. Is that happening right away, or what are we need to be looking for the confirmation of that? But yeah, technically 975 to 1000 range is a possibility if the momentum comes, but then we would have to see if the supply zones is strong enough again to push it lower, right? So definitely keep this zone up there in the attention, but can we at least even go up there? So let's talk about that. So as long as we are above 835, bulls still have more control, but the strength is not strong enough that there is high likelihood right now. So we have to wait for extra confirmation. And why I'm saying that, is also for the reason, if I take you to the hourly interval, you can see that this was one of the trend lines that I was talking about, that just keep following this trend line, and you can take intraday trades, right? That was an intraday trade. Even this was an intraday long trade up there to 200 hours moving average, and then you can see it rejected and sold off there. And it's just not a normal sell-off, guys. It's a little bit of a strong sell-off that it has created a lower pivot as well, and taking out the previous pivot of the green candle. So we do have a lower pivot on the intraday. So even though we are into that blue box and above that blue box, but price action has started to look a little bit weaker. I'm going to get rid of this other line because it has been acted upon already, and we don't need it. But though you can see that it reacted again when the price came back down lower, tried to find some bounce there. But we don't need this anymore now, because it has served its purpose both for this direction. Now from here, even though we are above that blue box, we are above that $835 that on the daily interval I'm pointing out, due to the constant support of, let's mark that level actually, constant support of that 20 and 50 days moving average. But as what I'm seeing on the intraday, that upside as it was coming, it's getting weaker as well. Anytime if we lose this red line or $835 zone, you can expect this thing can again continue lower. Trade it only intraday. And for the upside, I would suggest to wait now if we can get above 200 hours moving average. If we can get above 200 hours moving average at this point, then only I would be comfortable to trade it to the upside, but then just watch $970 to $1,000 range. I won't say more than that. I need to see some more pivots form, some strength forms. This one pivot in itself is not enough for me. This has served its purpose, at least for now. The next pivot is what I want to see either well at, so there's things that if it comes down, forms a pivot here, and then gets above 835 again, that can look like a higher pivot. Right now, we don't have a second higher pivot on SMCI. We only have had lower pivots, and though this pivot was good enough to take it higher, but that was only intraday rebound. I need to see for the confirmation of the continuation now to the upside. I want to see another pivot and then getting out of the 200 hours moving average or 835 again. That will bring extra confirmation also to the upside. So there are two things to watch for the upside confirmation. One is, well, you shouldn't be playing long as we break below 835. First of all, that's the thing, right? And also I would suggest let it break above that 200 hours moving average, which is around, I think, 854. We'll see in hourly interval in just a second. But to play next bullish play would be let it fall, and if it performs another pivot here, then it can continue higher. Otherwise, yeah, if we can't form a pivot, intraday short can turn into swing short as well. This thing has to be traded intraday for coming days, in my opinion. Right now, we don't have a swing confirmation on this. We need to see a pivot hold. We don't have a that confirmation right now. So coming back to the hourly interval, yeah, if another pivot confirms, we have to see that first. Otherwise, the bullish play would only be above, in my opinion, at this point, 854 above with 200 hours moving average as well. I would say we want to get out of. SMC otherwise is not looking good. If it breaks 835, near term some downside may come, and then, as I said, we have to see if another pivot forms, which would be confirmed if we can get above 835 again. All right, so that's something you are watching. Right now, I do see some weakness in SMCI on intraday, unless the levels that I provided break to the upside or we form the pivot on a little bit after selling off a little bit. But that will, again, just trade intraday, to put it simply. All right, both up or down as for the levels as they hold or break. All right, the ones that I provided you. All right, guys, there's nothing much more on SMCI that I have for you guys. This thing can stay choppy. That's why I'm saying just trade it intraday, nothing more than that. Going to the weekly interval is the same thing. That it can be argued, that channel that I showed you, right? It can be argued that it's a bear flag, just like we have bull flags in an uptrend, right? We would have an uptrend, and then we would have a bull flag, and then we shoot up. Just like that, we have these bear flags. In the downtrend, things goes up and boom. But the thing is that these flags, you know, on weekly interval, they are just, just too much long of a game that it's just very hard to trade these type of things. I would suggest that stick with the intraday, right? And on the daily interval, I would not too much focus on this flag here, because yeah, it's just too wide to make any decisions off of it. All right, you would be better off trading it intraday only right now. That's where the money is, both on the upside or the downside, as for the levels I provided. So, yeah, and as for the next week, we need to see a strong momentum. First of all, we do have a strong sell-off volume as well, the red one down there, and let it pick the direction, trade it intraday only. All right. Okay, guys, that's it for this video. And if you found it helpful, valuable, please hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you in my next videos. Bye.